Okay. All right. Hello, Mr. Karalis. Thank you very much for participating in the Synergy interviews.
It is my pleasure, and thank you for your invitation.
It was really important to also have you on board in the event that we organized some weeks ago, together with other participants from the ports, from the universities, and the industry. And we would like to follow up on that event by
It was a very interesting event, I would like to add.
Thank you for your input and kind words. It's true that it was a really interesting conversation. Many things came up, and there's a lot of work to be done, it seems, in the coming years, with all these stakeholders coming together and trying to push the decarbonization of ports. So I would like to go into the first question of our interview, which is if you believe that ports can really transform into clean energy hubs.
I would say that they can and they should be. So why? The answer is obvious for me. Ports is a reference point on the islands. Local activities, tourism, trade, market, communication meet there. So it is an opportunity for the islands and their ports. I think they should be a preferential field of application of new technologies, of renewable energy and energy saving technologies in the context of the energy transition.
Thank you very much for this. So also based on your background and expertise, what do you think, which types of renewable energy sources do you consider more suitable for integration in ports or near ports?
For the reasons that I mentioned earlier, in ports and in Greek islands, we have the privilege to combine not only the most cost-effective RES technologies, like photovoltaics and wind energy, but also more innovative demonstration, small projects on the exploitation, for example, of wave energy, offshore, or floating wind.
Mm-hmm. Regarding these innovative technologies, which do you think are the bottlenecks? And we haven't seen until now many implementations of them, especially in Greece.
It is not easy. There are some bottlenecks and challenges to deal with. So for the floating first, I would say that besides the fact that we only have globally only a couple of demonstration projects and only one commercial floating wind farm, we see today the potential of this technology and the discussion related with this. So I believe that a demonstrative small-scale floating wind project, for example, of the order of 50 kilowatt in Greece, in a Greek port, could be feasible, could be possible to be realized. And I think that Greek companies and universities could be involved on the design and the construction of this small scale. Okay, we talk about small scale. Now, as regards offshore wind, the conventional offshore wind, which is more commercial today, but however not in Mediterranean Sea yet. So probably, I think it would be more difficult in comparison with the floating, if we consider the lack of infrastructures and companies involved on the installation, transportation, etc. And last, for the wave, I would say that, of course, we know that wave energy could be exploited by a variety of different types of technologies and applications. Obviously, we are in the beginning of this exploitation, but I would consider some similarities with floating offshore wind. And why not to apply a demonstration project in a Greek port with a multi-purpose floating structure for offshore wind and wave energy exploitation together.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a very good recommendation. I keep that, and I hope that there will be such initiatives in the future. I know there have been some research on that, but we haven't seen something really operating yet. Regarding the offshore wind that you mentioned, the fixed bottom ones, which is now a commercial, in fact, technology, but we haven't seen that, as you mentioned, in the Mediterranean Sea. What is the reason for that? What's the extra difficulty of the Mediterranean Sea for offshore wind?
It is obvious that the technical issues are solved.
Mm-hmm.
There are other challenges for this implementation in Mediterranean. So I will focus first on land planning issues, especially due to the fact that, and this is also related with the ports,
Mm-hmm.
because the land area is limited in ports, so we have to consider marine solutions. And at the sea, the land planning issues in the sea are not clear, and we need to clarify many legal aspects, policy, and strategic planning for this implementation. All these are not clear today in Greece. Secondly, we need to consider modern project financing tools. From my point of view, again, here there is a great opportunity for ports. Recent development shows that there are many corporations which are positive to be involved and co-finance in innovative projects in ports or islands. You know better than me. You have experience with this kind of projects. And these companies, these corporations looking forward for great advertising and promotion thanks to the position of ports in the Greek islands. And last but not least, social acceptance is critical, and maybe this is another unique chance to involve local authorities, local population, local investors in these projects.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's the final remark. I keep that too, because I believe it's true that the local communities and both authorities and investors have a lot to contribute in such projects, but they lack the capacity, unfortunately, in many cases, and that's where partners like and stakeholders like universities or companies like Daphne, it's true that they can offer some added value, consulting, doing technical studies, and so on. So I think this is also a field where universities can really contribute a lot.
We're looking forward for collaboration in this direction.
I'm happy to hear that. So as a final question from my side, I would like to ask you what, since from the event that we had last week, it came out that cold ironing is the most appropriate and low-hanging fruit, let's say, for the Greek ports to start the electrification of the of ports and ship loads. However, it demands, of course, very high amounts of energy and power. And the question there is based on your experience from the renewable energy integration in the Greek grids. Can grid operators provide the necessary infrastructure upgrade, and how fast could that happen?
I hope so. And maybe we should ask them if they are ready to support this upgrade. But I would like to underline here that RES penetration in most islands, both both interconnected and non-interconnected islands, in both cases, the RES penetration is moderate. I would say of the order of 10 or 25%, the maximum. So this is even less than it is in the mainland. And this is strange if we consider the abundant wind and solar potential in the islands. But could be justified, and we understand this if we consider the technical constraints and challenges that we need to deal with, and the special characteristics of isolated power systems. So, in any case, this means that cold ironing in Greek islands, in short term, will be based mainly on diesel generation, which is far away from our target of energy transition in Greek islands and ports. So we have this to consider also this, take this into account when we discuss about the cold ironing.
Mm-hmm. So in a way, we should prioritize greening the energy mix, especially of non-interconnected islands, and maybe then discuss the cold ironing, since it really has
or both of them together.
Yes, right.
Or not forget the one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Or just focus on the port, maybe to say that we balance the energy of port and in both in generation and demand locally. A final question, if I may, Yoros. Do you think that the lack of space in ports is something that could be solved through the net metering scheme, trying to find areas around the island that are more suitable for installation of renewable energy sources of that scale that can cover the port needs? Since, in many cases, the ports are inside the cities, the towns, and it's difficult to have so many.
Exactly, yes, why not? Especially for the large-scale projects, this will be the case. Also for offshore, it will not be offshore, near shore, the port.
That's right.
Necessarily.
Right, okay. I would like to thank you very much for this interview.
My pleasure.
And we will be sure to follow up soon, since we have a lot of things going on, also regarding Syros demo port, but also regarding the activities of the project on European scale.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and we'll be in touch.
Have a nice day.
Goodbye. You too.
Bye-bye.